Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner. With us once again, Dr. Joshua Weinstein, the founder, the CEO of Shema, Kolainu, a group that's dedicated to working with our special children, the autistic kids. So welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you, Zev, for having me on.
So how have you fared during this whole time with Corona? I know you deal with special needs kids, with autistic children, so what's been like for you and Shema Kolainu during these past few months?
So when this pandemic hit and we were forced to close our doors, first thing we did is we called in our staff, and for a week we trained them on the use of Zoom in tele-instruction, and we reviewed it totally day by day for 5 days. And then we instituted it, and since that period of time, we've been doing instruction on a daily basis for every single child. In addition to that, we service over 1,000 other children and youngsters from ages 3 to 21 in the city of New York in every single borough. And in some cases, through some of the programs, we were able to send therapists directly into the homes. And the other ones we had to do through Zoom sessions. But we haven't stopped educating our youngsters and doing the best we can. I meet with them every single morning through Zoom. We go through an inspirational message, the message of the day, and then they meet with the supervisors. They review their lessons and the lesson plans. Everything is according to previous plans, except that we're doing it through the Zoom system.
Now, one of the things, though, that's you can't Zoom into is going to camp, sleepaway camp. I know you're an advocate. You've been writing letters. You've been pushing groups like such that good to see how we can open up and reopen the sleepaway camps for the summertime. So tell us about your passion, why you're pushing so hard for the sleepaway camps to open up as fast as possible.
Because we're advocates for all children, not only special children. We know that in order for children's mental health, stability, and everything that they've gone through this last 3 months, where they've been under great stress in their homes, the situation in the homes, parents, siblings, everything has not been normal. So it's time to open up. It's time to face the facts that children have a right to go to sleepaway camps and to be treated as fairly as others in society. We care about things that happen far away places, and we allow people to protest. We allow people to even riot, and then nothing happens. But we don't allow kids to go to sleepaway camps, and this has to stop. A decision has to be made to allow all children in the state of New York to go to their sleepaway camps. Now, I've been in touch with Aguda and other forces that have been working on it and our elected officials. And one thing is certain. There are health guidelines that they've set up that will protect every single child, will protect the families, will protect the counselors and the staff. And there's no reason to stall this decision. And I understand that the health commissioner is concerned about health issues. Well, let him spell out the health issues. We'll add it onto the guidelines. This cannot and will not be tolerated because these kids are really not even allowed to go to the parks. They go to the parks and they're chased out. This is hypocrisy.
You raise some good points because here are the issues from where I'm seeing it. First of all, summer camp is tremendously beneficial to kids, not just special need kids, all kids. What they do 2 months in the summertime, you may not be able to accomplish through 8 months of schooling if it's done correctly. Number two, with everybody cooped up in the home, it leads to all kinds of tensions, in some cases abuse, which is probably exasperated during these times where everybody's in such close quarters. So there's a need for that change, and we're almost at the summer season, and if no decision is being made, so it's much harder for camps to put guidelines in place if you give them only short notice. The more time they have, the better the implementation is going to be.
Absolutely, Zev. And also I've been in touch with all leaderships, including Catholic associations and other groups that have summer camps, and everybody is in the same consensus that it would be unconscionable for any government leader not to approve sleepaway camps. And we, as a group and as citizens, and the children are definitely citizens, they all have their rights in these United States of America. And the summer sleepaway camps will be open one way or another. But we'd like to do it the right way. We like to do it with the cooperation of the governor and the health department, but we cannot force the issue because the children and parents are really very uneasy. They see what's happening when rioters and destructive people go around doing things and get away with it. It's been a bad lesson for our children. We don't want that in our society. But I can tell you this, Zev, that people are fed up. And they will not just sit idly by while people who really don't have a conscience, I mean, if they can't consider this and open the sleepaway camps, of course with health guidelines, which we have in place, then I can't tell you what we really think of them.
But if you open up the camps, Dr. Joshua Weinstein, without the authority from the state, don't you run the risk of being shut down?
No, we will do it in a way that will be understood, but the powers that be, that they cannot stand in the way of our children getting the proper service. They cannot stand in the way to allow mental health issues to continue to creep into our families and society. They will not stand idly by, because we will not stand idly by. There are things at our disposal that are being discussed in a uniform way, and we don't want to get to that position. But we want everyone to know that we're taking this very, very seriously, and we're going to consider the rights of the people, the rights of our children. And there are other things in plan that will force the issue in a way that we don't want to come to, but we will have summer sleepaway camps.
Now, let me ask you,
have it in a proper way.
Are the Catholic camps going to be opening if, in spite of regulations of keeping them shut? Are they going to be doing the same thing that you're advocating?
What we're advocating is we're in discussion with them on a uniform, united way of making sure that our government understands the seriousness of our decisions and the seriousness of our issues, and will consider what we have to say. So we're not advocating anything that's illegal. What we're advocating is everything will be legal, but in a very strong and forceful way. It cannot be understood in a more proper discussionary way. So we're ready to deal with different issues. They've been in agreement with us, and we're continuing that dialogue. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it sounds like fighting words, and hopefully it won't come to that, but kids have to go to camp is what you're saying. And the question, though, is, will everybody working together in a unified manner make a difference? Will parents want to send their kids if they don't have state approval? That's going to be another issue.
No, we're not talking about not state approval. We're talking that there will be state approval, but we don't want to force the issue. We want everyone to understand that we're ready to deal with all regulations. We've already set regulations and health guidelines, and all we're saying is, if there are anything additional that you're concerned about, don't just say there are health issues. Give us the specifics, and we'll deal with it. That's what we're saying. And what we're saying is everything is going to be done in a legal system. But if we have to fight for it rather than discuss it, we will do that. In other words, we're not going to just sit down and play dead. That's what I'm saying.
What timeline? What timeline are you giving this? Because we're now a couple of weeks away from the start of what normally would be a typical sleepaway season. So, what time period are you giving the government to get this into motion?
Well, we're saying right away, now, and no later than the mid next week. So that's the latest. And we're meeting today with everyone together, and we will meet tomorrow. We will meet until everyone understands that we're on the same page. And I'm sure the governor has heard our issues, and he knows that we're serious, and he knows that we want the best for our children. And I'm sure he wants the same thing. But we're not going to shirk away from it just because there is a lack of understanding that we're serious about our kids having sleepaway opportunities in the summer camp this year.
So you're saying you want the government...
We can't afford it. We can't afford not to.
Not to. You're saying you want the government to Shema Kolainu to hear our voices.
Yeah, the voices of the people, the voices of the children, the voices of the parents, the voices of our elected officials who've been very adamant, the voices of our organizations who've been adamant. We want true justice for our sleepaway camp. We want to have sleepaway camps. We're ready for it. We're ready with the guidelines. We presented them, and we're ready to hear any objections, and we will correct it. But the fact is, what we're not ready to hear is there will be no sleepaway camps.
Dr. Joshua Weinstein, the founder, the CEO of Shema Kolainu, that deals with special needs children, especially autistic ones. Thank you for being with us. I know you're looking out for all kids, no matter if they're special needs or not, that everybody should be able to go to sleepaway camp. Your Heralding campaign, good luck, and we're hoping that things will fall in place so kids will benefit from a sleepaway experience, but in a healthy environment. So thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. I also want to add that the governor has signed a regulation to open the schools this summer in July and August for our special needs children, and Shema Kolainu is preparing for that. The parents are delighted and elated to hear that the governor has finally approved that, and our children will be able to come to school, to the classrooms, with social guidelines, with everything in place, and face-to-face with our staff, our teachers, who have been yearning for this, who have been dealing with them through cameras and through screens, and there's nothing like face-to-face education, not digital education. I'm looking forward to that, and we do want to thank the governor for his utmost consideration, and we're hoping that the regulations that he publicizes, we haven't heard it yet, are effective for the parents, such as busing and other things that will make it easier for them, and also make it easier for them to finally have a breather and have their kids in proper education.
If people want to learn more about Shema Kolainu, hear our voices, how can they do so?
Well, they can go to Shema Kolainu, SHEMAKOLAINU .org. Or, better than that, they can go to info. They can go to our website, ShemaKolainu.org, that you just mentioned. SHEMAKOLAINU.org.
Thank you for being with us. Look forward to having you again.
Very good. Thank you, Zev, and have a great day. Stay safe.
And we're going to be right back.